Hello and welcome back to Park Fermi Parlay. I'm your host Kieran Downey, and today we've got two topics to be getting into. We are of course going to be getting into our predictions for the Canadian Grand Prix, but first of all, we've got some driver news to cover. I recorded an episode all about who I thought was going to fill the leftover seats on the grid, and one of those was Esteban Ocon. Now, I said he was going to be leaving Alpine and going to Stake Cyber, and I do think that might still be the case because Carlos Sainz is kind of taking his time there. But who'd have thought on the day I upload that episode that Alpine would confirm that Esteban Ocon is leaving at the end of the 2024 season? Oh my God! As I was literally uploading that episode to YouTube. By the way, the YouTube uploader takes its goddamn time. As I was uploading that episode, it was like half an hour still to go. Alpine drop a bomb. Esteban Ocon out at the end of 2024. Sweating. I was absolutely sweating, trying to get it over the finish line, get it up. I was putting in the notes like, please no, I didn't realise that Ocon was going to be leaving Alpine. It was recorded before because I had no idea. I did not expect it to be announced today. My God, that came out of nowhere. I mean, not nowhere, and we all knew it was coming, but my God, I didn't see it happening as soon as today, Monday, 3rd of July. Now, there's a few reasons why I didn't think that this announcement was going to be coming as soon as it did. And it just goes to show, never believe what you see on the internet in terms of social media. So Esteban put out a statement. Much has been said in the aftermath of the Monaco Grand Prix. While I've received many messages of support, I've also been saddened by the amount of abuse and negativity that I have received online regarding my character, my driving and my career. He then goes on to talk about, his history in the sport, how he's a tough competitor, the teammates he's raced alongside, how he's made mistakes, how he's pushing to be a better athlete, how he took responsibility for the lap 1 accident in Monaco. There's no risk without reward in Formula 1, yada yada yada. He then says, in the end, we're all competitors and hard, fair racing throughout the field is what makes our sport so great and the main reason why I love this sport so much. I'm looking forward to competing in Montreal in front of the fantastic Canadian fans and to the exciting opportunities the future holds. Now, I walked away from that message thinking, okay, he's apologising again because the rampant rumours that were going on throughout the sport of will he get benched, will he get sacked, all this kind of stuff. He was taking accountability and that it was moving on. He was racing in Canada and that was the end of it. We would find out in a few months' time whether or not he was staying at the team. I didn't think he would be staying at the team. I am obviously correct in this, but I didn't think that they would announce it so soon. Then there was, of course, the Alpine admin who commented under that graphic with a load of blue love hearts. And that is when I should have known something wasn't quite right because it is pretty much the only comment that Esteban hasn't liked. Okay, so maybe not the only one. There's loads of people that have commented on it that he's not responded to or interacted with. But if a lot of people, you would think that the team you drive for, you would interact with that. Well, anyway, there was nothing. Then a photo was posted by Alpine with the caption reading, BWT Alpine F1 team and Esteban Ocon agree to part ways at the end of the 2024 Formula 1 season, the conclusion of the Frenchman's contract with the team. Esteban also shared some photos on his own social media and said, BWT Alpine F1 team and I have agreed together to part ways at the end of the 2024 F1 season. He then goes on to talk about his time at the team, whatever, and at the end, he says, still, there is a long way to go this season and my focus and energy is on 100% dedicated to the team and to the work we need to do on track to move forward and maximise our results on track. Like many drivers this season, a lot has been said about my future beyond 2024. News will be announced in due course. We'll come to that bit shortly. Now, this whole scenario doesn't sit quite well with me. Do I believe that the consequences that Bruno Faman, team principal, was talking about is them not renewing Esteban's contract? Yes. However, it doesn't really come as a surprise. We all very much were aware that he was probably leaving the team at the end of this season. What is getting me is the timing of all of it. The timing is too wild to be considered a coincidence. I can't believe that they've decided to announce this right now. In the midst of the hype off the back of Monaco, where, as I said, everyone was talking about Bruno's comments to the French press, what did it mean for Ocon? Would he stay? Would he go? Would he get benched? What was Bruno going to tear up his contract in Canada and say, get out the car, Jack Doohan's getting in for you? Like, there was, honestly, everybody was talking about it. It was wild. And the timing of all of this is only really reinforcing the fact that it seems as if Esteban's just been fired. Although, can you call it firing when he's out of contract at the end of the year? I don't know. But it just seems a bit shitty from the team, to be honest, to do it at this stage. Like, you would have thought the respectful thing to do would let Esteban get a contract for next year, sign on with another team, and then announce that he was leaving the team, and then he could announce he was joining another. You know, like they do it all the time. You get the Formula One graphics, such and such is leaving whatever team, like Hulkenberg leaves Haas, and then like 2 seconds later, it's Hulkenberg signs for Kick Sauber. It's that kind of vibe. It was the same as Lewis Hamilton leaves Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton signs for Ferrari. All happens within like a couple hours of each other. That's what I thought would happen. I think that's what a lot of people thought would happen. But apparently Alpine doesn't play like that. And they've just said, do you know what? We're releasing this today. Like it or lump it. By the way, Esteban's out. See you later. So where do I think Esteban's going to go in 2025? As I said in my predictions pod, I think Stake Sauber is a very high chance. Purely because Carlos Sainz seems to be taking his time, and I don't think that Audi are going to want to wait that long before they have their drivers set in stone. My other option, I think, would be Haas. I think that, I know I said Kevin Magnussen would stay, but now that I've had a little bit of time to think about it since this announcement, I kind of think that Oliver Bearman is dead set at Haas. I would put my yearly wage on that. I really hope he gets signed now. In my mind, I kind of think maybe Haas would approach Ocon to be that senior driver in the team and say, ta-ra, K-Mag, because I'd say K-Mag's more of a liability right now than Ocon, but Ocon does have previous, like, Ocon, I think, is the only driver I know that's got an entire video on F1 YouTube about all the times he's crashed into his teammate. It's a tricky one, but I do think given the option of K-Mag and Ocon, I would probably go for Ocon. I put poll on Threads asking people where they thought Ocon would go in 2025, and the options I put down were Haas, Stake Sauber, Williams, or won't be on the grid. I did want to put Mercedes in there, but Threads only let you do 4 options for a poll. What's that all about? 2 options have been voted for. Haas has 33% of the vote, and won't be on the grid has 67% of the vote. Now, what I've gathered today is there is a lot of Formula One fans that really do not like Esteban Ocon. I have seen a lot of negativity towards Ocon. I've seen him be called a teammate killer. I've seen people say that this is it, he's out of the F1. No good PR or anything could help fix his reputation. I don't think he's a bad driver. It is unfortunate the amount of times he has collided with a teammate. As I said, he is the only driver I know of that has his own video dedicated to the 6 times he has crashed into a teammate. Yeah, it's very much divided opinion. I think a lot of people would be quite happy to see him go. I wouldn't be quite happy. I would quite like him to stay. I would quite like to see what he can do outside of that team. To be quite frank, watching Alpine is like watching somebody try and push a wheelie bin round a Formula One track. So who do I think will replace him? I've already gotten into this. I do think it'll be Mick Schumacher. I feel it in my bones. I'm going off pure vibes. So before anybody asks me about being uninformed or whatever, I'm going on pure vibes. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see a Jack Doohan graphic coming up very soon with we're delighted to announce that Jack Doohan will be our driver in 2025. What I will say is I've also really enjoyed the commentary around Alpine this past day about in 2022 they had Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and a reserve driver in Oscar Piastri, and in 2 years they've lost all 3 of them. Somebody put up a photo of the 3 of them in their Alpine race suits and was like, this is a group, what would you call them? And the Red Bull admin replied saying the X's. Somebody also put up a bit about how we were having the conversation in 2022 about Alpine having Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and how they've now lost them all. Somebody commented on it saying from feast to famine, and I think that is fantastic. Moving on from the drama between Esteban Ocon and Alpine, it is race week. It is the Canadian Grand Prix week. We are heading back to Montreal and it is time for our Canadian GP predictions. I might have cooked and chefed a little bit back in Monaco because I am taking full responsibility for a Charles Leclerc win. I put in pole position, I put in when my predictions came through. I was chefing up in the kitchen, shall we say, a Charles Leclerc win, and my God, did I chef hard. All right, now, pole position, Max Verstappen. I think he'll get over the issues that he was facing in Monaco and be able to deliver a fairly solid performance. I don't think it'll be anything that blows anybody away, but I think he'll deliver a solid performance. I feel it in my bones. He's not going to be a happy man. He's not going to be enjoying not winning every race this year and not winning by a huge amount. He's not going to enjoy not being on pole. He's getting pole position. I don't think I need to explain it much more than that. Moving on, P3 for the race, Lando Norris. I think we'll see him back up on the podium this weekend. I think he'll have a great race. I think he'll have just a solid weekend, nab more points for McLaren, and just have a good weekend. I don't think he'll have any issues. I don't think there'll be any problems for him. I think he'll just have a solid, good weekend. Now, P2, Charles Leclerc. I reckon he'll have a great weekend. He'll be riding the high from Monaco, from his win, and I think he'll just do a solid job. I imagine we might actually get maybe a little three-way fight for the win. I think that might be exciting. My God. Three-way fight for the win. Who'd have thunk it in 2024? But yeah, no, I think we might get a little battle because I think he will be right up there battling with my P1. And in P1 for the Canadian Grand Prix, I have gone Max Verstappen. I think he will, as I said, have a very good weekend. I don't think he's going to win by loads. I don't think we're going back to the 2023 of the 20-second leads, even the Bahrain of 2024. I'm thinking it's going to be quite tight. But yeah, I think there'll be a wee sort of fight for the win. My God, does that not just get you excited? Call me delusional, but my God, I feel it in my bones for this weekend. So yeah, no, Max Verstappen, I think he's going to win. Okay, moving on to a few other predictions. I think this will be another weekend where Stroll outperforms Alonso. I'm not going to say it's by much, but I think Stroll will qualify better than Alonso. He will have the energy and the hype of his home crowd. I think he'll perform better than Alonso this weekend. I don't think it'll be huge amounts, maybe a couple of positions in qualifying, and he'll finish a few positions ahead. Now, Esteban Ocon, I think he'll be overly cautious this weekend. I think he will be feeling a bit down from everything that's happened, and although I know he's a fighter and that he will want to put on his best show, I don't think he'll have signed his contract for 2025, so I think he'll be worried that any more mistakes or crashes with drivers or even into the wall or anything will hinder his chances for getting a seat in 2025. I think he'll pull it back slightly and have a fairly reserved race. I've put that Perez will finish outside the points. Don't know why, but I just think he will. Something I'm feeling that Perez isn't going to have a great weekend. I don't know why. Vibes. Pure vibes. But yeah, I just think Perez is going to have a fairly poor weekend, to be honest. I don't think Williams will score points this weekend. I think they have gotten their 2 points in Monaco, and that will be them just now. Thank you very much. And I think Merck will do pretty all right. So I'm thinking maybe like a P5, P6. Isn't it wild that we think that Merck doing well is a P5, P6 right now? I bet they're looking forward to 2026, the new engine regs. And that is everything from us. We will be back this weekend to cover all things Canada with the Canadian Grand Prix, and I can't wait for this weekend. Have a great rest of your week. I will see you in a few days. Love you. Bye.